Hey, um, before I actually start this video, I must let you know it does contain, um, LGBT. It contains MM. If you're not into that, please go ahead and uh, push the button to click off here. Um, if we don't discriminate, we don't hate on this channel. We talk about our likes. And if that is something that does not interest you, you do not have to watch. Um, with that out of the way, please enjoy. Hello and welcome back to my bookish phase and fantasy phase. I'm Peyton, and those who are new here, welcome to my channel. Today we'll be going over some romances and their stories and which ones are my favorites and I recommend to you. Now, some honorable mentions. One would be Wrath by Ella uh, James, and it follows Josh and Ezra, two stepbrothers, a love and hate relationship that turn into romance. And I just think that the story itself is a little up and down. Um, I had a hard time reading it for the aspect of the denial, but it got really good towards the end. I would rate it probably a 3.7 or for the dynamic between the brothers and the love towards the end. So, yeah. Another good honorable mention. This is one of my favorites. It's the Omega Verse, and it is he's so slick. Now this revolves around a male Omega and his new pack, and he has an alpha, and they find another Omega who's a female and two more alphas to join the pack. And of course, because he's also Omega, swords cross, and I find it very spicy, very uh, just everything you want in a romance Omega verse. It has hockey, it has romance, it has sword crossing, and it has betas, megas, and omega alphas. If you don't like Omega verses, that's okay. If you don't like sword crossing or MM romances, this video is not for you. Um, so, another good honorable mention is Waiting on You, the one. So, this is by uh, Masterson, Jet Masterson, and this one follows an alpha named Elias and a blind Omega male named Willow. And so this story is about how this alpha owns a uh, rehabilitation dog center for like service dogs for the blind and the disabled. And this Omega walks in looking for a guide dog. And he falls in love instantly with this Omega. It's scent matched, it's opposite attract, it's wanting to take care of you, and their bond is so strong and so loving. If it wasn't for one of the other books on here, I would have put it towards my top 10. The only reason I didn't is because of the realism that this could happen in real life, and it just touched too close to the heart for me. Um, and I do recommend it for those who want a little bit of a tearjerker and something that could be close to home, and something that um, is very heartwarming. This is the book for you, especially if you like MM and Omega verses. Um, and it does come with an audio book. All the books I'm going to show you today come with audio, either by Audible or by uh, sorry guys, I'm blanking today. I woke up late. Uh, Google Audio. Sorry, don't know why it took me so long to think of that. And yes, we have the trusty notebook here for my reminders. And I'm going to take a drink because I can. I needed that. But my significant other, he told me that if I'm going to have my notebook in every video, I need to come up with a name for my notebook. So I'm going to let you guys come up with a name and tag it down below for me, and I'll choose the name. Anyhow, so my books are not in order from the order I had put my favorites. So this will be the top 10 to 15 top 10 to 15 couples, MM couples and stories from best to okay. And so I'm going to very quickly see which one is okay. So first off, we have, it's on my Kindle. We have, sorry guys, it wants to, we have Ignite by Abigail Glenn. I don't know if you can see that. My poor Kindle. My poor Kindle. Alright, this story revolves about around Ezra and Cain. So okay, so Ezra and Cain. So Ezra. So the story aspect is that Ezra is a homeless man. He had just escaped from a very cruel situation, and he becomes homeless, and a situation had occurred where he had to steal from a CEO of this massive company, and so he goes for it, and he does indeed get caught, but he's never been caught cheating before. He knows the slip of the hand and everything. And in doing so, the CEO makes him live with him, basically, and become his. And over time, we learn that the CEO, Cain, is more than what he appears. He's not just a CEO, he's also part of a group that deals in child trafficking. He gets rid of child traffickers and rescues kids. He also does a lot of helping women out of the sex trafficking ring, and he learns some things about Ezra and decides that Ezra is now his to keep, and they fall in love, and he is and Cain just like at that moment decides that he cannot live without Ezra, and the story goes from there. I put Ezra and Cain at top because of how strong their bond is in this story, and how Cain has to save Ezra, and the denial that Ezra has with some of the things that Cain wants him to do. So, yeah. Ignite, Ezra and Cain for the win. After them, at number 2, we have... Why is that at the very bottom? I don't know why I didn't organize these, you guys. It's very stupid of me. Like I said, my brain is not counting on all its cylinders today. We have God of Fury, Brandon, and Nikolai. And I know that they should be at number 1. However, there are some things in this that I just couldn't get past, and that is the whole aspect of Brandon determined to say that he is not gay for Nikolai, and that the whole turbulent relationship that Nikolai has with the rest of the group. But yeah, for those who have not read it, this story is about 2 schools, basically, and their secret societies clashing, and basically 2 different families also clashing. And amongst them, we have Brandon, King, and Nikolai I can't even say his last name. Anyway, I'm not even gonna attempt it. And Brandon is struggling with his sexuality and understanding himself and accepting his, I guess, situation of what's happened to him, and his what's happening around him, and just being himself. And we have Nikolai, who's this bisexual, full of energy, sociopathic guy who is determined to have Brandon's attention. He's obsessive. He decides that Brandon is his no matter what. And their story is kind of like a back and forth. Admit you love me, or else. And it's funny, it's romantic, it's heartbreaking, and everything that you want in a dark mafia academia romance. And I loved every aspect of it. So yeah. Another one is, for number 3, would have to be, why did I not organize these? Sorry guys, I hope I say his name right, because I listened to the audio. And so we have Keen and Aspen of Don't You Dare, and they're best friends, who's basically been each other's do or die since forever. And they are living together during college years. And they go to a party where they are playing basically a new version of Truth or Dare. And during this game, they're dared, or should we say, don't you dared, to kiss each other. And in doing so, one of the best friends, in this case, I believe it's Aspen, discovers that he is deeply in love and has been in love with Keen this entire time. And he doesn't know what to do about it. So, he keeps it to himself for several years. And when it's time for them to start thinking about where to go in life and everything, and things start getting a little challenging with life and everything, he decides to, they both decide to start playing a game. And would you not think it through, it would be the Don't You Dare game that they had played in the party. And so this game starts off, and what was an innocent kiss starts turning into something more. And their friendship turns into romance. And it is so adorable. It is so cute. I fell in love with them right away. There are some misunderstandings and some moments where the characters have to really think about, okay, I don't know where to go from here, because real life hits them in the face real fast and they panic. But that's all I'm gonna say for that. And I don't mean to spoil any of these. If it feels or if it sounds like I might be spoiling something, you guys can just mute or click off. But that is not my intention. I'm just saying what each story is about and why I loved the characters very much. But Best Friends to Lovers is adorable. Next off, we have one of my personal favorites. I know that there's been controversy about this story, and that is Kiss the Villain. This is Carson and his professor, Caden. So this is in the storyline or in the same universe as God of Fury and their group. This follows the cousin of Nikolai and his professor. And so the story is that Carson tries to pull a prank that's a little bit too far, and he gets caught. And the guy who catches him ends up being his professor. And his professor's not bad looking. He's very attractive, and he's very not what he seems. And Carson cannot stand the fact that not only is he attracted to his professor, and he's been embarrassed by this professor, but this professor doesn't acknowledge his qualities. And so he does everything under the moon you could think of to not only try to embarrass his professor like he has done, but to punish him in ways or try to kill him. This is a enemies to lovers professor and student romance. And over time, Carson becomes obsessed, and Caden becomes a denial obsession, kind of. He denies the fact that he wants Carson so much, but there's no denying that he is attracted and wants Carson to the point of not being able to live without him. And the story can be emotional at points, and the story can be hilarious at points, just like God of Fury. I love Rena Kent, and I love her new look on m.mromances, and I'm looking forward to her next m.mromance. She's done really good with the two so far that she's done. So, yeah. That is at number 4. So for number 5, we have another Kindle one. So I'm going to grab my Kindle and put it on here. Ah! Asking for my password. Like, girl, I don't need no password. Okay. This one is from I'm sorry. Sorry, guys. Alright. So this is My Pucking Crush by Tori Chase. And this is about Luca and Max. So Luca is a bodyguard to this hockey player Max, and Max is this arrogant playboy, kind of like typical hockey player that we've all read about. He's cunning, he's the wanted guy, you know what I'm talking about, the it boy. And Luca is his new bodyguard that has to protect him from fangirls, paparazzi, that kind of thing. And there's a spark between them that starts to turn into fire. They've had a connection that turns into more. And I don't want to say any more about that because I truly believe that My Pucking Crush is something you have to go into blind. But their story is very impactful. Like, there's a lot to it that I feel like you need to read almost with fresh eyes. So we're going to leave it at that. The next story, number 6, it's a duet actually, so I counted it as one book because you can't read one without the other to make sense of the story, and that is Him and Us. These were co-written by Kelly Kennedy and Serena Bowen, and this story follows a pair of best friends that meet at camp, at hockey camp to be precise. And, hold on 1 second. Water break. And the names are Jamie and Ryan. And they start as best friends. Well, first strangers, then best friends. Then over time, as they come to camp together over the years, growing up together, they realize that they both have feelings for one another, but are too scared to mention it to one another. It's they're both in the closet, basically, afraid to admit to one another that they're both gay. And when it finally happens, it's just amazing. One becomes a hockey player, and the other becomes a coach. And I can't say more without actually spoiling the story, but it's a strangers to best friends to to couple. It's a romance that you could have seen begin from the beginning. It's so pure and so beautiful. There are some heartfelt moments in the story because you do have some prejudices with some characters against them, but it's not like anything that holds them back. And they have such a good support system in this story too. So if any of you are struggling with something like that and you want a story that helps you, this is something that would be tremendous to read. So yeah. The next up is Love of Cain. It's another one for my Kindle. And my Kindle is slowly dying, so I will probably have to put it on the charger soon. So I don't know if we'll get to all of the ones on my Kindle. But we have The Love of Cain. Where are you? It's going to make me have to find it, and I'm going to be like, why? Okay, it's no longer on my Kindles, but we're not going to fret. The next one is called For the Love of Cain, and we have Cain and Jackson. So their story is that Jackson is Cain's target, but he doesn't know that in the beginning. They originally meet at one of Cain's clubs. Jackson is this pretty boy, just wanting to, do his drugs and party, dance, enjoy himself. He is a trust fund baby that's been basically kicked out of the family, and Cain is this mafia leader slash CEO of clubs, and he wants revenge against Jackson's family, and he doesn't know that he's going after Jackson, and when he learns that, he is absolutely heartbroken because after a one night stand with Jackson and dancing with him at this club of his, he's absolutely infatuated. He's fallen in love with him, and he is trying everything he can to get Jackson to not only become his and move in with him, but to acknowledge that Jackson is more than what he shows himself to be. And so their story is heartbreaking, but so I don't want to say refreshing in a way because it's like controversial, kind of. And if you want to cry and be frustrated, that is the book for you. Next up, we have one that is actually on my Kindle, and I will show you. It is Mercenary and the Mortician. So basically, this story follows Cal Walker and uh, Ryan. So Ryan is a mortician who can talk and see dead people. He could ever since he was little. He believed it was something from the family. His mother could talk to the house, and his sister had was very butch, and people thought that their family was very strange. And then we have Callum, who misunderstands the situation and decides. sorry, guys. It's been very rainy and disgusting where I'm at, so my allergies and sinuses have been not so good. So I'm sorry if I sound like a dying squirrel. Anyhow, what was I saying? Oh yes, Ryan misunderstands the situation and decides to go after Callum. Misunderstands the situation, tries to go after Ryan, and when he learns that he was wrong, he decides to visit Ryan constantly. He first he wants to figure out why Ryan acts the way he does, and he is infatuated with Ryan's house. He wants to stay with Ryan, and then he starts developing feelings for Ryan. And their story takes off from stranger to lovers. And Ryan isn't used to this. Ryan, he doesn't really have friends. He doesn't really go out on dates. In fact, he is pretending to date a really morbid, internal kind of girl, a kindergarten teacher, if I'm correct, and they don't really talk to one another. They don't see each other. They might go on a date once a month for her benefit, but not for his. So we can say that Ryan is very in the closet, where Callum is not. He has trauma. Callum, you will learn, has lots of behind the scenes kind of issues and has like deep misunderstanding of love. And basically Ryan has to save Callum from himself and from others. So I'm very proud to say that that one was not only a really good read and one of my favorites, but the couple in this story was masterpiece. They are opposites of one another when it comes to personality, but they also just match up so well, and I love it. I wanted to put the second book to this on here too, but there were some things I just couldn't be okay with, so I didn't put it on the list. But I do recommend this one for anyone who wants the darker side of m.mromance. And then we have at number 9. Like I said, I didn't freaking organize these, so pardon me. For the fans, this is a stepbrothers, 2 lovers, and it follows Kyron, and Avi. So one is a football player, and the other one is an artsy boy who ends up becoming the mascot for the football team. So we have the story. You know how it is. One brother's mother finds a man, fall in love, become stepbrothers. Anyway, at the beginning, they cannot stand one another. And so Kyron cannot stand Avi. Avi doesn't understand why. And they have conflict with that. They don't understand why. The other just can't get along with the other. However, after a party situation happens where a friend of Avi's wants to have a threesome, and Abby's like, okay, sure, who's going to be our third? And she goes, I don't know yet. How about you get someone? And he goes, okay, and calls up his stepbrother. Says, Kyron, you want to have a threesome with this girl? And that happens. They figure out very quickly that they're gay for one another. And then Kyron learns that Avi has a OnlyFans account where he has been doing his thing. And Kyron needs money because Daddy is no longer giving the boys money. They need money for school, for basics. And so Kyron is like, you know how we did that threesome, why not do some stuff for your page? Just don't show our faces. And Abby is all for it, you know. And this turns from just 2 stepbrothers doing stuff for the OnlyFans to them being an actual couple. And their story is very clashing. There's some backstory that comes to light that's very heartbreaking. But in the end, they get their happily ever after. And it's just so wonderful. I recommend it to anyone who is looking for a stepbrothers to lovers romance. Next one is Puck Around. So, for anyone who has not read Pucking Around by Emily Wraith, so this is about a girl who has a one-night stand with this hockey player who later moves in and becomes their physical therapist and finds him again and decides to have a relationship with him, just to find out that she likes two other people in the group, basically the equipment manager and another hockey player of the team. But it turns out that the initial hockey player that she had been with that one night stand with, Jake, has gay feelings for the equipment manager, who's also has been his best friend since childhood, Caleb. And we see their bi awakening story together, their uh, friendship turning into lovers, turning into this polyamorous relationship, and it's really humorous to read and to experience because they're trying to figure out so many things at one time that you could tell that they're overwhelmed. They're not sure where lines cross really hard and where they shouldn't cross, and they're learning these new aspects, and it's just so, it's something else, and I loved it. So uh yeah, you'll find that in some of these books they don't start off as romances but end with an romance within the story, just like with the next book, Blood of Hercules. So for those who have not read Blood of Hercules, I feel bad for you guys. It's freaking awesome. um my favorite character is the snake. I want me to kill them. That is my favorite line from her. Think of the snake as a uh, African American grandma with a snake accent, being all sassy like, "Me to kill them for you, child." Anyhow, um, so the couple in this story that I'm going to talk about is Achilles and um, Petro. They are the crimson duo, the yin and yang to each other, the cast sides of the story. So we meet them as the main character, Hercules' mentors. But we quickly learn that they're not just her mentors, they're best friends, they're lovers, and they are so close. It there's no words to say how connected they are. They're like soulmates. And we learn within the story that uh, there's some marriages that have to happen before the age of 20, sorry, at the age of 26, I believe. And they're getting to that age. And they're getting scared because they don't want to marry anyone else but each other. They want to be together forever. And so they struggle with that and taking care of their mentee. And you'll learn in the second book, in Bonds of Hercules, that they're willing to not only die for each other, but to willingly sacrifice others for each other. Their bond is so strong. It is so romantic and so heartbreaking. I had to put them in here. Um, but because the book does not settle around them as the main characters, as the main couple, I couldn't put them at the top. So, yeah. The next story we're going to talk about is another Kindle book. I got lots of Kindle books, man. My Kindle is my baby. Let's see. This one is called nice to me. This one is called Break Me Daddy. And yes, I know what you're all thinking. Of course. She has to have a book that's centered around men calling each other daddies. You know what? You should try it. However, this book follows a mid yeah a mid ab Amendio I can't ever say his name. Amandio and Six, and in sorry guys. So Six steals from Amandio, steals some money, and as punishment, Amandio goes, "You have to live with me and be my plaything. These are the rules. You must call me daddy. And you cannot leave until our contract is over." And Six is confused by this, but he goes along with it. And that's all I'm going to say for right now, because again, this is another one that you have to go in blindly to it. But I am going to say that the story gets intense. There are some things that you really have to think on with their relationship, and that's why I put it at number 13. But it wasn't a very enjoyable book. I liked it enough to put it on the list. Let's say that. Next up is another Kindle one. Oh my goodness. And this one is called Forsaken Desires. By Ashley James. Forsaken Desires. You can see that? I hope you can. I don't have the best camera quality, guys. I need to get a new camera, but because I just got this one for Christmas, I'm not going to get a new camera anytime soon. So, anyhow, Forsaken Desires follows Aston and Knox. So Knox is a friend of his. How would I say this? So he's within their friend group. So yeah, a friend. And Aston sees him as an enemy slash rival. He doesn't really care for Knox in the beginning, and Knox doesn't really see Aston as much of a person in the beginning. So Aston is this guy who does nothing but drink and smoke. He does pills in secret. He doesn't really, I don't want to say care for life. He just has his own thing going on. And Knox sees this, and he wants to, in a way, take control and fix him. And over time, with this, oh, I can fix you, and oh, we can be friends, but kind of aspect of it, they fall in love with each other. Knox tries to deny this to himself because he's convinced that no one can love him. But when it comes time for him to go and will he admit to himself, hey, he does love me, and hey, I actually do love him. It's very heart-wrenching. I do say, if you like college romances and miscommunication, kind of like gay awakening stories, this is the one for you. Now these ones I do have physically with me, so I'm going to put my Kindle up there and have to, because I did not put these in order, like I keep saying. Next up we have The Contract. So we have The Contract by Rena Saint. This follows Dante and Tristan. So Tristan is trying to look for his brother's killer, and this leads him to a secret club, kind of this like exclusive club where he is a waiter, and he meets Dante, a man who is all powerful. He's a mobster. He is top dog. And wouldn't you know it, he actually has connections to not only the person who had killed his brother, but his brother himself. And, wait, Tristan doesn't know this. He just knows that Dante could lead him to the person who had killed his brother, or to his knowledge. And in knowing this, he, I don't want to say uses Dante, because he doesn't really, but he gets under Dante's skin. And in doing so, they form a relationship, and Dante falls for Tristan, not wanting to. In fact, he keeps telling Tristan that he doesn't believe in love. He will not fall in love with him. That what they are doing is strictly transactional, and he is paying for his attention, because not only does Tristan need information, but Tristan needs money. He lives in this rundown apartment. He barely has enough money for food, and whatever money he does get, he uses for things to help find his brother, for other things, and that's all I'm going to say, because I could give so much away by accident. So, yeah. It was a very good read. They do have their happily ever after, but this book is full of a backstory, full of just anger and heartbreak and sacrifice. And if you are not willing to go into this not only blindly, but with your emotions close to your chest, then you're not ready to read it. It is very dark, and I do recommend those who can handle things like this. So yeah. The last one, one that I did not expect to like so much, because it wasn't something that I really thought of liking. It was one of my first monstrous stories that I read. This is Soul Eater by Lily Main. And so the story is that these soul-eating monsters, basically these demons, have risen and are walking on Earth to spread death and war and just take over, basically. And so the military has uh, formed new troops, are taking men from 18 plus and throwing them into battle. And are taking women to breeding centers, and just, it's a mess. Basically, the apocalypse. And they're trying to preserve the human race. However, during this fight between humans and these soul-eating creatures, a certain soldier named Danny finds himself down, and he believes that he's going to die. However, the soul eater Wayne, decides that he's not going to kill Danny. Instead, he's going to take Danny. He doesn't understand why at first he wants to take Danny, but later on he learns that the human intrigues him. He wants to come to understand the humans. He wants to learn about the humans. And Danny's response to this is not what he expects. Danny actually wants to learn and understand the Soul Eater. He wants to understand Wayne, and he wants to see Wayne's face, because Wayne doesn't show his face. He hides it under a hood. And then it turned into wanting to understand each other and having intrigue in each other to having feelings for one another. And they both try to figure out why they're having feelings for each other, because one, they're not the same species, and two, they're males, and three, they're in a war. They shouldn't be having these feelings, and these feelings turn into them turning into to lovers, romance. And this book does contain spice. So if you guys are not interested in monster cock, you should not read it. However, it does show connection between two different races. It does show war. It does show a future in peace. And it shows that there is still humanity even in the darkest of creatures. And I really enjoyed it. There is other books. This does contain a series. It's the first book, but I have not read the actual series. I should, but I do recommend it to anyone out there who is interested in something like that. But yeah, and so everyone knows these books range from 3 chilies to extreme spicy 5 chilies. They're very sexual in nature. They're very romantic. If you do not like you don't like spice, please, for heaven's sakes, 1, do not watch this video. 2, do not read these books. And 3, do not hate on the stories just because. And that is all I have for you guys today. If you have any recommendations, leave them down below. If you want any more recommendations, let me know. I have lots more, and I plan to read a lot more. If you want something similar to this video where I recommend my top 15 or top 10 Omega verses or dark romances or mafia or something like that, let me know. Put it down below. Um, and I'll be back with you guys in another video, okay? Bye.